Welcome to this leaked underground explainer. We're diving straight into a dying solar system today, so go ahead and forget those sterile corporate feeds you're used to. We're cracking open a dark, burgundy, blood-splattered graphic novel of our impending doom. Think of it like a grimoire for the end of the world, thrusting us into a harsh, diesel-punk reality where humanity is literally hanging by a thread. I'm going to guide you through the raw data of this three-way Cold War that's actively tearing our species apart. So strap in and let's piece together this high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled nightmare. Just listen to this counterculture manifesto straight from the Martian underground. Hail the Red Queen, may the blood ever flow red. I mean, it sounds exactly like an edgy cult classic comic book line, right? But here's the thing, this isn't fiction. This is the desperate war cry echoing through the failing terraforming projects of Mars. It's a visceral reminder that while some of us are living comfortably, the rest of the solar system is fighting a brutal, bloody war just to survive. The contrast between our two worlds is just visceral. On one side, we've got Atlantis Prime. It's our sterile underwater sanctuary run by the UN Reconstruction Authority, a totally controlled world of chrome, holograms, and gilded glass cages. But then, look at Mars. It's a decaying diesel-punk wasteland. It's completely unstable, choking on violent dust storms, and as we just heard, it is literally blood-starved. We're looking at a tale of two planets, one hiding from the past and the other bleeding out from it. Now, we can never forget exactly why we live in these fragile underwater tubes. We're hiding. We're hiding from the Carcassonnes. These are hyper-aggressive, surface-consuming mutants that literally drove humanity into the sea. They completely stole Earth from us. And the only reason we even survive in Atlantis Prime is because we thought these nightmarish apex predators were entirely unable to swim. We thought the ocean was our moat. But, as we'll see as we go through this explainer, the walls of our glass cages might not be quite as secure as the UN wants you to believe. Which brings us to the current powder keg. We've got three distinct factions fighting over the scraps of two planets. And hey, we're just analyzing the raw data here, we're not picking sides. Down on Earth, there's Director Vance and the UN, desperately clinging to a fragile peace through heavy bureaucracy. Over on Mars, we have Commander Zara's Dominion, which is a heavily armed, highly disciplined faction demanding ruthless military order. And finally, you have the old dying monarchy. That's Queen Sophia and her loyalists, fighting purely for desperate survival against Zara's insurrection. So 3 factions, 0 trust, and a whole lot of firepower. Right into the center of this slaughter step, 3 completely different survivors. First up, you've got Lucky Star, a washed-up space mercenary who basically rebranded himself as a slick corporate hustler in Atlantis Prime. Then there's Gem, a deeply cynical, pragmatic, cybernetic clone surviving in the neon-lit underground. And finally, Astra, a restless mercenary warrior who's just yearning for the action of the old days. Honestly, they're total nobodies in the grand political scheme, but fate, or maybe something a lot darker, is about to drop this entire Cold War right into their laps. Now, driving the monarchy's collapse is a truly blood-starved tragedy. See, when the blood pipes nutrient network was destroyed during the Martian Civil War, the underclass of genetically engineered clones didn't just quietly die off. No, they devolved. They mutated into feral crypto-vampires. We're talking completely ravenous monsters stalking the deep dust. Even the Queen's own guards are turning into these creatures, and because of it, she is violently losing whatever grip she had left on her kingdom. And the spark hits the powder keg in an Atlantis Prime detention cell. Queen Sophia, now a deposed fugitive monarch, throws a desperate Hail Mary. She tells our trio, "Help me stop Zara, and I'll share my technology to help Earth." It's a classic devil's deal, right? But for Lucky, Gem, and Astra, it's actually the only way to get ahead of the massive conspiracy that's unfolding all around them. So, they take the deal. What follows is this rapid-fire shadow war against Zara's Dominion. They instantly leverage their unique skills. Gem uses her underground contacts to slice into Zara's network. Lucky pulls his corporate access at Abyssal Biotech to track Zara's supply lines. And Astra? She whips a crew of restless mercenaries into a highly lethal strike squad. It's gritty, it's incredibly fast-paced, and it perfectly captures that edgy cyberpunk hustle as they gear up to steal literally the most important item in the solar system. At the absolute center of it all is a single, terrifying biological agent, the mutant. Now, in its pure form, this highly advanced asset actually has the potential to heal Earth's dead biosphere. It's essentially the holy grail of human science. But if it's altered, it acts as a horrific, weaponized plague. It is the ultimate key to absolute power, and right now, it's sitting heavily guarded in a supply depot on Mars. And Zara's endgame here is pure treachery. We're talking a catastrophic false flag operation designed to crown herself dictator. Because Zara doesn't just want Mars, she wants the whole shebang. Her plan is to take the mutagen, weaponize it into a plague, and then deliver it directly to the UN envoy under the guise of diplomacy. The ensuing slaughter, that'll be blamed entirely on the Red Queen. With Earth crippled and the Queen framed, Zara's Dominion gets to march in as the ultimate saviors and seize absolute control of the surviving human race. So it immediately becomes a desperate race against the clock. Hour 0, a brutal ground skirmish erupts at the Mars supply depot just to secure the pure, unweaponized sample. By hour 1, that ground war completely explodes into a massive orbital space battle. The Queen's loyalist fleet is throwing literally everything they have at Zara's Armada. And why? All just to punch a tiny hole in the blockade, so our trio, flying a rickety little ship called the Starlight Serenade, can make a white-knuckle blockade run back to Earth. Somehow, the Starlight Serenade punches through to the UN envoy ship, triggering this incredibly intense diplomatic standoff. Everyone converges in the UN Council chambers. Zara is spinning high-level propaganda, playing the perfect, disciplined leader. Meanwhile, the Queen is offering a desperate plea for her people. The UN leaders are totally torn. That is, until Lucky, Gem, and Astra burst in and literally slam the real mutagen and the hacked tactical data right onto the table. The hard evidence starts rising, exposing Zara's genocidal plot to the entire world. But then, everything completely shatters. UN scientists start analyzing the pure mutagen in the abyssal medical base, and they discover an unthinkable biological truth hiding inside the cure. They find a hidden biomarker deeply embedded in the very foundation of the mutagen. Guys, it's not human, it's not Martian, it's Carcosa DNA. The miracle cure that was meant to save the Earth is fundamentally built from the exact apex predators that destroyed it in the first place. This means the monsters aren't just mindless beasts anymore. The glass walls of our gilded cage, they're definitely starting to crack. The UN suddenly realizes the mutagen wasn't just a cure, and it wasn't just a weapon. It was designed as a biological leash to control humanity and the Carcozods alike. And the horrifying proof is happening right outside their windows as we speak. A completely new breed of Carcozod, larger, hyper-intelligent, has been spotted in the dark waters near Atlantis Prime. They aren't just aimlessly swimming now, they are actively probing and testing the city's underwater defenses. Which leads us to the ultimate terrifying realization. Zara, the Queen, the UN, they are all just pawns in a much darker, much grander game. Because you have to ask, who put the Carcosa DNA in the mutagen? Who is driving these monsters into the ocean? It's the architect, an unseen, hyper-intelligent cosmic puppeteer who views the entire solar system as a chessboard. The architect's goal isn't just destruction, it's forced evolution. By creating a common, terrifying enemy, the architect is using orchestrated, bloody conflict to force humanity to either adapt or go extinct. As a fragile alliance starts to form to face this evolving threat, Lucky is standing in his high-tech Triton Tower office, just staring out into the pitch-black ocean. And suddenly, his private comms light up with a completely untraceable, modulated text, just one word. Hello. The architect is watching. The puppet master is acknowledging the players who actually managed to survive round 1. As this underground explainer comes to a close, I want to leave you with one final question to ask yourselves before the blood flows red once more. You see, this wasn't the end of the war. It was just the opening move of a much darker, much deadlier game. The Carcozods are literally at the glass. The architect is pulling the strings. So when the abyss gazes back at you, whose side will you choose in the coming slaughter? Stay vigilant, keep your eyes on the shadows, and we'll see you next time as we continue to decode the raw truth of our universe.